What is up, basketball fans, and welcome back to Zero Gravity, Apollo Media's NBA podcast. It is MLB opening day. We are recording this right before the Astros' first pitch of the season. So we're very excited about that here at Apollo Media. And if you haven't already, make sure to check out our store on Sunday. We're going to be releasing our new shirts online. So go check that out. Our H-Town versus Everyone shirts are going to be, they're pristine. They're great quality, better design. It's going to be awesome this year. We're going to have new shirts every month. So that'll be our April edition of the shirt. We'll be back with more in May. But we're here to talk basketball. Zero Gravity, Apollo Media's NBA podcast, brought to you by J-Bar M. J-Bar M Barbecue is just a couple of blocks away from Toyota Center in Houston. Go check them out before a Rockets game, during a Rockets game, whenever, during the week. We love J-Bar M Barbecue. Shout out to Zing Zang, America's #1 Bloody Mary mix. Go get it wherever you get Zing Zang. I get it at the liquor store, but you can get it at Target and other places. Shout out to Zing Zang, America's #1 Bloody Mary mix. And shout out to Big City Wings. Big City Wings is Houston's wing joint, Apollo's wing joint. Go check them out today if you're in the Houston area. I am your host, Tone Strankman, joined always by Josh Garcia. How we doing, bud?
Oh, welcome back. Happy opening day. I'm great. The Cam Smith jersey will be purchased soon. I might have to do a DoorDash style Klarna on that thing. A lot of drama. I don't know where do we begin?
Yeah. So yesterday, LeBron James, our GOAT, our Lord and Savior, LeBron James, went on the Pat McAfee show on ESPN or also on YouTube. I don't know if he was there for like the non-ESPN portion or the ESPN portion. I don't know. It was a lot of good content.
How does that? Sorry to interrupt, but how does that work exactly?
So
they can cuss for an hour and then they can't.
Yeah, so he has a daily show on ESPN, so on TVs where they can't cuss, and then they have the next hour of the show on YouTube where they can do their traditional Pat McAfee show. It's still pretty traditional on ESPN. It's not much different. They just don't cuss. They have to censor themselves a little bit. And when they do cuss, then there's like a tape delay and then they got to blank it out and this whole thing. But JJ Watt is known for saying motherfucker or something during that portion. And then they all yell at him for it. It's pretty funny. I like Pat McAfee. I know you are indifferent or dislike Pat McAfee, whatever. He's not everyone's cup of tea. And I get that. But LeBron James went on Pat McAfee's show, which I think is crazy.
Random.
LeBron does not do press like this. Like he'll do the ESPN like interviews with Rachel Nichols over the years or whoever, Stuart Scott, like just random people. He will do those interviews before a big game, before the playoffs, yada, yada, yada. He doesn't do this. Like he hasn't done this since the decision, which was an ESPN thing that they wanted to do because he wanted to raise money and that's what they came up with. And he obviously started to get hated on because of that, but whatever. This is the first time we've seen LeBron kind of very unfiltered outside of like the HBO's barbershop, which is very filtered because he gets to edit and Maverick Carter and everyone, they have final say on what shows up and what doesn't.
Literally the producer.
Yes. So this is very unfiltered LeBron. And over the last, I don't know, 3 weeks or so, Stephen A. Smith called out Bronny James for basically just not being a capable NBA player at this point in his career, which everyone understands that's what it is. Like it's his son and he wanted him on the Lakers and that's what we're getting. It's LeBron James. You let him have that. Every other, like Giannis Antetokounmpo's brother is on the team. I don't think he's a very capable NBA player, but we all make fun of it on Twitter, but like the talking heads don't talk about it very often. Mm-hmm. So, or if they do, it's very silent and not out there on the airwaves very often. So I get why Stephen A is bringing that up because it is a talking point. It's the Lakers. He's going to talk about it. I get why LeBron James is mad at Stephen A. Smith because that is ultimately his son, not just his teammate. So I get the beef there.
Yeah. I don't know what else. LeBron James being on this media run, which is so strange to even like put those words in my mouth. Him doing this is ridiculous, and I love the fact that Kendrick Perkins of all people is upset that he got unfollowed by LeBron as well. I think that was a hilarious addition to the lore. The Brian Windhorst strays, however,
was funny.
Why? What did Wendy do, man? Wendy has made a life of following you around, LeBron. You can call it weird. You can call it whatever you want. Of course, we only know so much here at Apollo HOU. We're not the smartest guys in the room. Right. But Brian Windhorst he at some point it's almost merit, he's been there long enough. Like obviously he wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for LeBron James. Let's be clear. And
Yes.
maybe I'm sure he's probably crossed some boundaries, stepped over some lines over the years. But at some point, it's like Wendy's become a really good NBA reporter, like with or without LeBron James. Years, of course, years gone by. But I feel like all the dominoes are just falling. LeBron is, in attack mode. He even made an Instagram post about Stephen A. Smith doing the boxing video, which I didn't expect that to happen at all. This is post-retiree type behavior, which makes me worried because LeBron might only have one more year after this. He's almost 30. This fuckery can't go on for much longer.
45 at this point. So LeBron basically calls out Stephen A. for talking about his son publicly and at a game, like before the game during warmups. He approached him and talked to him about it. And then Stephen A. basically says that he would have swung on LeBron if LeBron had swung on him. LeBron is not going to swing on you. He is so much smarter than that, and smarter than you, Stephen A., for even you bringing this up. Like, that is insane that you said that on the podcast, because LeBron is arguably the most calculated and thoughtful person that we have seen in media, in the sports media realm, as an athlete outside of hockey players. Hockey players they're robots. They are completely different. They use their words carefully and everything. LeBron does that in a way to either take digs at people in a smart way without getting fire for it. And outside of the decision, has been pretty much a perfect citizen when it comes to media and scandals and anything else. And even if you want to call the decision a scandal, which it really wasn't, like he was doing it out of the goodness of his own heart to raise $2.5 million for Boys and Girls Club of America. Like, he did a lot of good things with that. However, it did come off kind of shitty just because he dissed a team and joined another team, and it was different. And it was the first time that had happened in NBA history, really, where a star player, homegrown Cleveland kid, like Akron kid, goes to Cleveland and tries to win a championship, doesn't get there, obviously, and then leads them for the Miami Heat, super team created and all that kind of stuff. Second super team of that era, by the way. Boston did it first, and no one said anything about that.
People forget. That's right.
So that beef is very funny. Wendy getting strays is interesting because I think Wendy, before Zach Lowe was let go by ESPN, rest in peace, miss you, Zach Lowe. Please come back. We need the Lowe post every week. I need that in my life. But outside of Zach Lowe, who is no longer employed by ESPN, Wendy is the best NBA media journalist and TV guy, because he makes it feel like when we were younger, Scott Van Pelt, Stuart Scott, they would go into a monologue about something happening in the league or a player, and they would lead into it with a bunch of buildup and drama, and then they would tell the story out in a very consumable fashion where it's not just clickbaiting or clip farming and all of the things that ESPN is now. Wendy does that very well, and he's able to get the clip farming and the social media engagement from it because he's so good at it. But he does it in a way that 15 years ago, that's what we were watching on SportsCenter or ESPN on a regular basis from everyone.
Yeah, he feels like he feels like an old soul almost, even though he's like, not even that. He's not even an old head yet, but he feels like old ESPN kind of.
Yes,
because he's been around for so long too.
He's very good at it, and I like Wendy now. I used to hate Wendy, and now like Wendy. And when he called Luka out during the finals, I hated Wendy, and now I've come around on it, and I'm like, he was getting that information from the Mavs and Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd or whoever, and he was just spilling their beans for them, which is what journalism is, like, in a way. Like, you're getting a story from an inside source and then spilling it out to the public. That's what it is, and I can respect him for it, and he wasn't afraid to do it, even though Luka was the best player in that series, and they lost in 5. So outside of that, I love Wendy. So that was interesting. I wonder what happened between Wendy and LeBron during that time. But Stephen A. was he's dead bodies everywhere. Stephen A. just got killed 10 times over yesterday. Did you see the clip of, I don't remember if it was like Boston Connor or someone else from Pat McAfee, but he was like, so you don't read those fucking books, do you? Talking to LeBron, and LeBron made a whole joke out of it, and he's like, hey, give me that book. And he turned to the first page, and he's like, hey, Pat, take a picture. And then he closed the book and sent it over. So LeBron was very funny and outlandish on Pat McAfee. And that, like you said, the retirement tour may be coming because of that, because this is very post-career type of moves from certain players. And he did it on a game day, no less, against the Indiana. That is strange.
And he proceeded to hit the game-winning tip-in the same night. There's no one like him. The 10-point streak was almost done, and then the tip-in went in, and here we are. LeBron James is the GOAT. This is the most awesome media cycle, the short-lived media cycle I've ever been a part of in a long time. This is great. Now we have opening day coming up for baseball. I think we're back, baby. The best 2-3 months of the year are like finally here.
It's impressive how much media this got in 1 hour of him talking to Pat McAfee. There were hours of things to talk about.
That's why we love the podcast and stuff like that with JJ Redick, and now Steve Nash is on the podcast.
That was the thing I forgot to mention with Wendy.
Not yet.
Yeah. So Wendy, like I said, one of the best NBA journalists that we have. He's a true journalist, and he likes to build it up and make it for the viewer and make it important, is what it feels like. LeBron mentioned it yesterday on Pat McAfee's show that they've lost the plot, essentially, with media coverage for sports. And they don't talk about basketball anymore, and they talk about the drama and all the other things that outside of the game of basketball. So he wanted to make sure that we brought the podcast back without JJ Redick, because he's now the head coach of the Lakers, unfortunately, and rest in peace to actual good NBA coverage, because he was doing that with Mind of the Game, Old Man in the Three, and on ESPN during the broadcast. JJ Redick, big fan, obviously. He was my favorite player growing up because he was a white kid from Duke and whatever.
Okay.
Shout out my guys at Duke. We're going to run into Houston here in a few weeks, but it's fine. So he brought it back, and now Steve Nash is the co-host. And I made the joke yesterday in our group chat: how do I become the average white dude that joins an NBA players podcast? But in this sense, it is Steve Nash, 2-time MVP.
You always got to be the loosely tied childhood friend, never too close, but never too far from one another.
Yeah, I'm about to turn 29 next month, so I think I missed the window on the whole childhood friend thing. And I grew up in Alabama, not a hotbed for basketball players outside of like Bessemer, where Charles Barkley came from. So, not ideal. Gucci Mane, James Winston, Bo Jackson. People forget Bessemer, Alabama, hotbed.
Dream blunt rotation.
Yeah, and then last thing on LeBron, TikTok has taken over my feed of LeBron songs. People are covering songs and writing parody songs of LeBron James, and it started with Michael Jackson. And now, I swear to God, I have heard 25 plus different LeBron songs on my TikTok feed in the last week.
This is so impressive. It's I swear, every 4 or 5 videos, it's an entirely new song. Just heard a Johnny Cash cover. And he threw in the yabba dabba doo, Old Navy. That shit was crazy. This is real. You want to talk about real journalism? This is song parodies are back. It's Minecraft 2014 all over again. The 10-year cycle for media, or if you're into astrology, that might be your thing. The 10-year cycle always happens. Now song parodies are back in. Who knows what's next for LeBronify? This is some of the best fake journalism, fake life I've ever seen. This is the best thing ever. I love it.
Luka Dong. We got a Revan LeBron.
Man on the Lakers. That shit is sick.
It's like it's been stuck in my head for a week now. I started singing it, and my wife was like, "Are you singing Michael Jackson?" I was like, "Kind of,
in a way,
but not really." Like I'm singing LeBron, babe. Like, don't you know the LeBron song?
Michael Jackson, of course.
Then we started listening to Michael Jackson in the house. It was a great day, but yes. Impeccable work from the gentlemen and the ladies across the world creating TikTok songs of LeBron James and parody songs. And I'm never going to be able to get enough of it. I will not skip one. I will watch it in its entirety. Maybe twice, maybe 3 times.
Wow. 4.
Depending on how good it is. Like I'm going to listen to it probably a couple of times and watch it. And then they have the edits that go with it. So it's a
whole LeBronomy over there. L'economy. Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So shout out to TikTok users creating new LeBron songs. Please don't stop. Make it go forever. I would.
Thank God they didn't ban that app, dude. Oh my God.
It's too much great creative people on there for that to be banned. America.
Oh my God. This is how I knew song.
Not my president.
Dude. Nah, baby. Nope. Nope. No voices.
We love
today.
LeBron.
I love LeBron, my king, my goat. Nope. All right. No,
Got
my
that out
last
of the
thing I
way.
was going to say on this was I'm so glad that song parodies are back in. This all started with this, a month or two ago. I'm not sure if you're familiar, if the viewers are. This non-binary person did an amazing song called "McDonald's in the Pentagon," and it's just the whole song is just talking about the McDonald's in the Pentagon. Because apparently there's a McDonald's in the Pentagon. I don't know.
Wouldn't doubt it.
And the song parodies been the song parody economy has been going crazy since then, and I think that's a direct correlation. Yep.
Yeah. No, it's impeccable. Please don't stop. But yeah, LeBron doing all of that on Stephen A. On Pat McAfee show, same network, and Stephen A. not getting that. The real loser here is Skip Bayless. For years, he had
tried to
been
get his attention
egging
for
that
years.
guy on, trying to get his name mentioned by LeBron James, and never could do it. Stephen A. brings up his son, and all of a sudden, it's game over, boys. It's game over. LeBron's going to take this one, and in 4, it's a clean sweep. It might be 3. They just canceled the rest of the series because there's no need to go further than that. So LeBron,
right.
our GOAT, on and off the court in this situation. So
all Skip Bayless had to do was talk about Savannah or something.
which
I love that. LeBron has been a faithful man for years. He is just in and out of the spotlight, but not too hard on the spotlight. I love that. That's my goal.
Yeah. Someone tweeted a picture of Skip Bayless in a LeBron James jersey, a headband with a brick in his hand, leaning back, just shooting the brick, calling out LeBron, and could not get an ounce of time from LeBron James. Not a word, not a name drop, nothing.
Skip 1.4 Bayless. People forget.
The OG GOAT in this situation. The OG, the reason that ESPN is the way it is because of Skip Bayless, unfortunately.
Jesus Christ, man. There's been so many, good shows that, and of course, this goes back to Around the Horn being getting thrown off the air here soon. There are so many good shows that are just been left by the wayside with, the transition of sports media, sports journalism. Like we'll talk about Sports Nation every other episode on here, it feels like, but High Noon with Bomani and Pablo, like so many good shows. Like PTI is the last of, a dying breed, and even then it's like these two dudes are really, really old now. Like it doesn't feel the same. But then I watch it and I'm like, Tony still got it. Kornheiser still got it. It's the Jesuit guys. It's the Jesuit in their blood, dude. I don't know what it is.
He's definitely got it. I was listening to Bill Simmons the other week on the way back home from Houston, where I took my week hiatus and listened to all 3 episodes on the way home from Houston, on the way there and on the way back. But one of the guys, I don't remember who it was that was on the podcast, and he was talking about the future of ESPN. And essentially there's 2 buckets, and it's streaming rights essentially for the Super Bowl, college football playoff, college football in general, Monday Night Football, etc. If ESPN does not have something for that bucket, then they are going to do away with it. And then there was another bucket for the smaller type projects like First Take and the talk shows essentially that they have. And if your show does not fit that mold for clip farming essentially and going on the streaming platform, then they are going to do away with it. And that's why we're losing all of the shows that we've grown to love that grew stale because they weren't putting money or extra production or the right people in the seats to talk about it, and they were getting rid of the right people and adding people that weren't as good at it. So that's kind of what's happening. There's 2 buckets for ESPN, and if it's not in those 2 buckets, then it's going to be thrown out. So it's unfortunate, but
that's sad.
Here we are.
That's sad as hell. But this is why I think that no matter what, if a major network isn't, following the exact, ways that you want out of them, like you got to curate your own community. You got to find cool stuff on YouTube, find cool stuff, find people on Twitter. I was telling my friend the other day, like, who's trying to get into like writing and stuff like that. And I told them, I was like, I had no idea how to do this either. I just started following people that I liked. And like, if I really was interested enough, I'd ask questions. And, you got to curate your own community when it comes to stuff like that. It's, ESPN ain't going to be your savior. They're not going to, just because First Take wasn't the same, now as it was 10 years ago, or even back when it was Cold Pizza, like that doesn't mean that, there isn't other options that are as good, if not better, than First Take was. You just got to find it.
Yeah.
Be curious. Always be curious. Don't get mad because, the highest of the higher up in the media aren't as good as they used to be,
There's great content creators everywhere that either do it for free or they do it for jobs like us. And that's kind of what we want to do. We want to create content that people want to consume, essentially. We're creating the content that we would want to consume, and we're hoping that reaches the same level of content consumer. So that's what we're doing with this show and all the other stuff out of Apollo Media. That's what we want to do. We want to bring news, but we also want to just have fun and talk sports the way that we grew up listening to people talk about sports and talked about it at the cafeteria tables and all that kind of stuff. So last thing before we go, Dame Lillard has blood clots. I believe it was the same thing that Wemby had. I think that was the same wording. He's out indefinitely, but it was not out for the season. So there's hope there that he's not out for the season, and hopefully this is able to clear up in the next few weeks and he's able to come back for the playoffs, etc. But scary that several players now have had the blood clots.
It makes me wonder. Tinfoil hat when it comes to
he's a vegan.
Paradol or painkillers, I was gonna say. But yeah, sure. If he's vegan, sure. Vegan, sure. You need the Brett Favre method. You need to take all the redacteds that you can, and hopefully Damian Lillard will be back for the playoffs because that East is looking real weak, and hopefully he can make it more fun. But first of all, and last of all, his health is the most important, and it really sucks that him being out and multiple guys being out like that. That's kind of scary,
Yeah, and we're not trying to do the whole thing. Oh, I hate to see this guy injured. Like, this is a medical condition, not an injury. So it's much scarier than like if the guy broke his leg or tore his ACL. Like, those things suck. Like, it's not fun, but you can recover from those. You know how to get there, and lots of people have done it. Blood clots becoming an issue in the NBA. This is it's not the second guy. It's like the third or fourth guy this year that's had this. And over the last few years, like, there's been multiple. So scary, not great.
Yep, scary stuff. Well, hopefully Bobby Portis, whenever he comes back from his his suspension, he'll send him to victory. Is he even still a Buck? I don't remember.
I think so. Kyle Kuzma, he's a Buck. He looks awful. Terrible.
I don't know what we're getting at with this Kyle Kuzma business.
I tuned in for like 3 minutes of a Bucks game, and I watched Kyle Kuzma just play awful basketball, and I was like, you know what? I'm good on this one.
Paul George and Kyle Kuzma they're on the same level in my brain, which is not very high.
It's impressive.
It's gross.
So we just sold out of shirts in person at Kobo's Barbecue. Just got that text. So that's huge. But Sunday, we have another extra inventory that we will put out online on our ApolloHOU.store. It's going to be one shirt only. So you get 2 choices of colors, and there's different fits and all that kind of stuff. So go check that out at ApolloHOU.store on Sunday. We'll talk about it again on the podcast on Sunday. But yeah, shout out to LeBron, our GOAT, everyone's GOAT, my GOAT.
My GOAT.
Just love LeBron. What a day that was. I had a great time just scrolling on Twitter incessantly. I couldn't get enough. I didn't watch the show entirely. I just watched the clips here and there, but just great stuff. Great stuff, LeBron. Thank you for that. That was
love you.
That made my March. Made my
This
March.
is March.
It's the end of March, and it was the best thing I've seen. So good for him.
There you go. We did it. Save the best for last, baby. Now we got the Sweet 16 coming up tomorrow. Or no, tonight and tomorrow, I think.
Is it
tonight? And then the Elite Eight Saturday, Sunday. That'll be fun stuff. Can't wait.
Hectic day for me. Opening day, 3:10. Mississippi State plays LSU at LSU in baseball at 7:00, and the Stars play at 8 in Calgary. Ooh. So day full of sports for me. I'm not gonna
have fun, pal.
I'm not going to complain about my job where I have to watch sports all the time. I'm not going to complain about that, but it's not as easy as you think. It's like me and Ryan Russillo. We're on the same wavelength. Got to give up some things to get all these sports in my brain. So
I was sitting behind the bench and I saw Bull, and the way that Bull's body language was looking at it didn't seem right. I don't like the Suns.
I'm not going to zing when everyone's zinging, but Bull, I think he's pretty good. I think he should be the starter for the Suns.
I don't know. I like the way he camps in that corner.
He just gives a shit, man. So bad. Shout out to our sponsors, J-Bar M. J-Bar M Barbecue is just a couple blocks away from Toyota Center. Go check them out today. They got the best barbecue in town. They got cheap drinks. So head over to J-Bar M Barbecue. You can go camp out for an Astros game and just walk right over there. It's not too far. It's a few blocks and free parking. It's right outside. It's not a big deal. They got a lot of it too. So shout out to J-Bar M Barbecue. Shout out to Zing Zang, America's #1 Bloody Mary mix. They got ready-to-drink cans with the alcohol already in it, or you can just go get your mix so you can make your own drinks on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon or whenever you want Zing Zang, go get it today. And shout out to Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Paul's Wing Joint. Go check them out today if you're in the Houston area. They got 14 locations across Houston. So shout out to Big City Wings and the rest of our sponsors. Thank you for taking the time, Josh. Let's go watch some opening day baseball. We'll be back very, very soon with another episode, Zero Gravity, Apollo Media's NBA podcast.